Commander Zylock stood frozen before the holographic display, his three eyes blinking in rapid succession. The data streaming across the screen defied every principle of xenobiology the Galactic Council had established over 12 millennia. "This cannot be accurate," he muttered, his translator struggling with the inflection of disbelief. Lieutenant Kresh, a seasoned intelligence officer from the Vryn Collective, approached with her datapad extended. "I verified it 17 times, Commander. The species designation Earth-human exhibits metabolic impossibilities. The war had been inevitable, or so the Council believed. When long-range surveys detected a primitive civilization on the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, standard protocol dictated observation and eventual integration. But humanity had developed faster than any species in recorded history. Within 2 generations of discovering faster-than-light travel, they had established colonies across 14 systems. The Council saw this as aggression. They saw it as destiny manifest. Zylox had commanded the Third Fleet with distinction through campaigns against the Helix insurgency and the Silicon Wars. He expected Earth to capitulate within standard cycles. Instead, the humans did something unprecedented. They laughed. The first engagement occurred near the Neptune orbital stations. Zylox dispatched a strike force of 40 warships, confident their graviton lances would shatter human defenses. The humans met them with 12 vessels, outdated fusion drives still sputtering exhaust trails. The human commander, a female named Admiral Chen, broadcast a message that still echoed in Zylox's auditory processors. "You picked the wrong species to threaten." What followed shattered galactic military doctrine. The human ships dove directly into weapons fire, hulls ablaze using their own vessels as shields while launching kinetic projectiles. Primitive weapons the Council had assessed, harmless against advanced shielding, except humans had done something insane. They accelerated tungsten rods to 0.97 light speed. 3 of Zylox's ships simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, but obliterated at the molecular level. The remaining vessels retreated in disarray, their commanders babbling about demons and deathworlders. Kresh pulled up additional files. "Commander, the biological data is what concerns Strategic Command most." Zylox examined the reports. Humans originated from a Class 12 death world, a category reserved for planets so hostile that sentient evolution was deemed impossible. Earth experienced regular mass extinctions, tectonic violence, and pathogen diversity that would sterilize most civilized worlds, and humans thrive there. "They possess redundant circulatory systems," Kresh continued. "Their immune response adapts in real time. They heal from injuries that would kill a Vryn in moments, and their psychological profile suggests they actually enjoy conflict." Enjoy? Zylox felt his chromatophores shift to stress purple. When faced with extinction-level threats, human neurochemistry floods their systems with compounds that increase aggression, reduce pain sensitivity, and enhance problem-solving. They call it adrenaline. Kresh paused. "Commander, they evolved to be apex predators on a world where everything else was also an apex predator." The second battle occurred at the Kepler station. Zylox brought the entire Third Fleet, 600 warships representing the combined might of 40 species. Humanity fielded a defense force of 70 ships and 30,000 ground troops. The humans lost the orbital engagement. Their fleet was shattered, debris fields glowing like funeral pyres. Zylox initiated the ground invasion. Confident victory would be measured in hours. It took 6 weeks. Human soldiers refused to acknowledge when they were defeated. They fought from ruins, from underground tunnels, from positions that sensors insisted were uninhabitable. When ammunition depleted, they used blades. When blades broke, they used tools. When tools failed, they used their hands. One human, a soldier named Jackson, single-handedly held a position for 14 hours after suffering injuries that should have rendered him unconscious. Medical scans later revealed he had been operating with a punctured lung, fractured spine, and catastrophic blood loss. When asked how he continued fighting, Jackson had shrugged and said, "Seemed important." The translator had rendered this as, "Strategic necessity dictated persistence," but Kresh later explained the human had essentially said he was too stubborn to die. Day 40 of the occupation. Human reinforcements arrived. Not military units, but civilians. Parents, teachers, engineers, artists. They carried improvised weapons and wore expressions that made Zylox's combat veterans retreat to their transports. "They are protecting their offspring," one of his officers had whispered, mandibles clicking with fear. We have awakened their parental protocols. The Third Fleet withdrew. Strategic Command called it a tactical repositioning. Xylox called it survival. Now standing in his ready room 3 cycles later, Xylox reviewed the Council's latest intelligence. Humanity had not only repelled the invasion, but had reverse-engineered captured technology. Their fleets were growing, their weapons evolving, and their population, that terrifying, resilient population, was unified in a way that made galactic sociologists revise their models of species cooperation. Kresh approached with one final report. Commander, Strategic Command requests your assessment for the next campaign. Xylox looked at the data one last time. Humanity had turned their homeworld into a fortress. They had militarized their entire species, not through conscription, but through volunteer enthusiasm. They had poets writing battle hymns and children designing weapons in school competitions. He thought of Admiral Chen's final transmission before Kepler Station fell. You wanted to test us, congratulations, you passed. Xylox deactivated the display and made his decision. Tell Strategic Command that Commander Xylox recommends immediate diplomatic overtures. Offer humanity full council membership with territorial guarantees. He paused, his chromatophores flickering with something that might have been respect. And tell them we should be very, very grateful that humans prefer negotiation to conquest. Kresh tilted her head in confusion. Sir, we outnumber them 3,000 to 1. For now, Xylox replied quietly. But they evolved on a world that tried to kill them every single day, and they became its masters. They have been preparing for this fight for 3 million years. We have been preparing for peace. He looked out at the stars, imagining Earth somewhere in that vast darkness. The humans are real, Lieutenant, and the galaxy will never be the same.